So I am back and I have gone ahead and done the plate there. I am, if you missed the first one, in Little Birds Coloring Book by Odessa Begay. And I'm on this page. Now, I went ahead and did do the gel pen silver around this outside. I went ahead and finished all around here, and you see now that looks more like it's slanted down and has a little bit of a shadow so that the plate's more realistic looking. Just a bit. There we go. Now, up here on this coffee cup, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do yet for the little bits here on the plate. So I left them alone on the coffee cup too, and I'm just going to leave them until I get to the very end if need be, because I'm not sure what I want to do yet. But I do want to show you, I guess I better back up to the plate, show you something I did here. Do you see here where it's pinker looking? I did add another pink shade. I got my raspberry out. I'm still with the Crayola pencils, but I got out raspberry, and I just did through here lightly and faded, just like I did on here. Now I'm going to show you on this leaf. See where it's darker here and here? So I know I need this to be darker too. So I'm just going over the top of that. So anywhere around the outside of this, anything that is overlapping that line to stay consistent needs to be darker, and then just fade it out. Okay? Because you want that to have that same angle of shading as the rest of the plate does. So that's just something to remember. So I went ahead and did that flower. The same thing. I just went along here and then got lighter as I came out. On the green just now, I used the darkest green that was already being used there. I went over and did the entire spoon. Then I went over and did the coffee cup, or the little teacup. So that's where we're at now. So what we want to talk about now then is actually shading that cup so it looks a little more rounded. Okay, so I did the whole cup in absolute zero. Remember, this is that one that is not the same as that barrel color. Comes off really light, and I could still come back and do more and more layers on all this and get more of those marks out, but because of time I wanted to shoot you out another video, so I'm not doing that right now. So remember, my next darker shade was turquoise. Now I need to decide, is this the bottom rim of the cup, or is that the inside rim where the coffee cup's sitting? I'm going to treat it like the inside rim. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw this color on there real quickly. All right. Now, several things going on here. This is going to cast a little bit of a shadow here. So I'm going to do this a little darker. And then we have the thing, well, what about it being at a slant like this? True, very true. So what I'm going to do then is come here with the same color, and I want this to be a little dark because that handle is casting a shadow. So there's going to be lots of shading and such going on just on this little saucer and cup. Just fading it as I come out. So if you're heavy-handed, don't be up here coloring real strong and heavy, okay? Pull your hand back some on that pencil so that you have to go lighter in order to keep from snapping that lead off, okay? Just do all that. Do up in here a bit. Do under here some, because there's a shadow. I can always clean up these little white bits later. Not too worried about them right now. Fade this out. Just have it fading out. Yeah, you didn't miss it. I did not finish the pictures I started on the cruise yet, so that's why you've not seen them posted. I think what I need to do is sit down with some gel pens and just get on here and finish them and let you watch that. But, you know, it's this thing called time. All right, and then I'm going to turn, and I'm also going to go out this way a bit. Now, I cannot have the same coloring on here and here. It'll just look like one dark bit. So, let me finish this. And then also, to make the cup look rounded, I've got to come in on the sides. Let it fade as it wraps around here. Let it fade out. Okay, and then down here underneath this little hook part. All right, so we're wrapping this cup in some color. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it in this color. Now I'm stroking from the outside in. I'm doing this. If this is my paper, I'm on here and then I'm lifting here and lift. All right, so here and then lift as I come out. It just helps me from getting a definite line of shading right there. Helps mix it up a bit. Okay, lighter in the middle, like it's kind of that shine mark. Now I'm going to come back with my absolute zero and just do a little bit of blending here. Okay, then I'm going to come in with the darkest blue that I've been using, which is my cerulean, and I'm going to tuck some of that down in here. Just makes it look like it's down and that it's a shadow. Okay, shadow coming up here. It's just a repeat of what we did over here on the saucer, or on the plate, remember? And if you missed that, it's the prior video to this. Now this time I'm not going to go up the side here. I'm going to stop right here because we're just trying to give the illusion that this saucer is at an angle. All right, there we go. Now, for the sides of this, to make it look like it's tucked back in there again, I'm going to do the same thing here. And yes, it's going to blend some with this color. I don't have the pencils back here with me. What I could do is pick up a darker shade of blue and tuck it in here to make that go back even further. But do you see how that kind of makes that look like it's rounded, like it's rounding back in there? Same thing here, coming just down the side of that cup. Now, the cup would leave a shadow here, so I'm going to do just a line. This time, I'm going to let it be a definite line. I'm not going to fade it out. for the reason that that is right next to it. So do you see how my hand leaves a shadow right here? And it's a very definite line because it's so close to it. So that's what I did there. There's going to be all kinds of shadows down under all this, but we're not to that yet. All right. Now inside the cup, I'm going to go to the turquoise, and we're going to just come down inside. And I'm just going to do this area just to make that look a little bit more rounded. It's not a big pronounced difference. It's ever so slightly. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to come up some. There's a shadow that this side of the cup is leaving inside the cup. All right, so just go ahead and put that in. There we go. Now we've got a little bit of depth down inside. Then I'm going to come back with that cerulean, and I'm going to beef it up a little bit right here at the edge. Just helps push that coffee cup down inside. And then I'm going to beef it up right over here on this edge. But I won't come all the way up. I'll run it out into that other blue that we did. Same thing here. Okay, so now that cup's got some shape to it. I haven't decided on this yet. I'm thinking about putting the pink in there. Let's see how that looks. We'll just try it. If it's not good, I'll erase it. The paper will be stained pink, and I will have to go from there. I really don't know, but I'm thinking that might be cute because there's no pink roses in here, but I wouldn't mind having some pink on the cup somewhere. So why not a pink band? This is actually pink, yes, that's the color name. If I met you on my last cruise and we discussed coloring and you looked me up, please post below. Just give me a shout out. Yeah, I meet people, I would say everywhere I go, but that's not true. It's not everywhere. And we're not on the go that much, but we did meet a lot of people on that cruise last week. We've been back for 6 days now. I feel like we're still trying to catch up with sleep, just because it's the only time we headed into an area that had had a hurricane and then deported from a place, left the port where one was headed in, and it was an experience. All right, so next I am going to go to Jazzberry Jam. And see, just fade it into it. And I didn't get into the tip. I want to leave a little bit of that white there so I can come in with that last shade. If you're on your laptop, there's a donation spot in the top right corner. Even $1 or $2 helps, just to allow me to get supplies and keep doing these videos. If you have a certain kind of pencil you'd like to see how it works, you know, it'll allow me to buy those and review them before you get them. If you're on your phone, okay, now this is Raspberry. If you're on your phone, if you look across the top where my channel is, it says home, videos, playlist, and if you keep going across, at least on my phone, it says about. You can click about, and then there's a place where you can click for donation, and you can do it through PayPal. I think there's other ways too. All right, so do you see how I made that look really rounded? If I wanted a bigger highlight right here, you remember I've been using eraser. I'm going to come in here with the eraser and erase just that middle. See how that looks like a highlight in there now? I can do the same thing on the cup. Just come in there and erase a little bit. If it doesn't look right, I can always color it back in, but see how that looks like a highlight there? Now, I'm going to talk about the spoon. I've never seen a spoon that looks like this. I'm assuming you couldn't really eat with this spoon. Who knows? So I've already done it in absolute zero, but I want it to look dipped. Okay, I want it to look dipped in the middle. So you see the shadow in the very center. So I'm going to take our two colors we've been working with. It's already done in absolute zero. So I'm going to take the turquoise and start just outside the center. Just outside. Again, my colors aren't that drastic, but they're just enough. Fading as I come out. All right. So see, it's a little bit darker in the very middle. Let's see if I can show you that a little better. All right, now I'm going to come in with my cerulean, and I'm going to go in the middle of that. So it's just coming in. So now I'm in that center area. This is also going to help that little bird to really pop. Really pop when I put that color on our bird. And no, I have not decided what color. But do you see how that worked? And I just get lighter as I come out. And now the center of that spoon is a little darker. And it looks like it's curved down in, scooped in. All right, so that's mainly what I wanted to show you on that. I do need to tell you on all the leaves, I added a green. I added palm leaf. So after I finished all my leaves, I went back over them with palm leaf and used that as a blender. And it just gave enough of the brighter yellow to it that I really liked it more. And I did the same thing. These up here, same thing. I used the two greens that we did before. I'll give you the names again in just a minute. And then I came in and blended, and then I used the same gel pens like before. So my darkest green was green, and my light one that I used was shamrock. And so then now my new light one that I used all over was palm leaf. All right, well, that's it for now. Ideas on what colors to do these little bits. All these little bits here, not real sure. I'm thinking I'm going to leave all this white as if it was lace, which means we will come back in with some gray to make these shadows. We might even come in with purple, do purple shadows, so that the gray shadow doesn't fight with that silver on the cup. But you can see that metallic. It really worked out nice. And then my little leaves are done with gel pens. And then there's little bits. You can see some right here that's shiny from the gel pens. It's always hard to be able to show you that. There, you can see that. There you go. Still can't see it on the little bits, but that's all glitter gel pen. So, all right, well, I do like how it's turning out. Oh, the brown? Yeah, that's new. Yeah, I've got time to show you. You're right. So I grabbed antique brass and then light brown, and then I grabbed cocoa. No specific order. The only thing is, can you see how there's a knot hole here? And then there's lines all through here to follow. They're there for suggestion, as I like to say. Do whatever you want with it. But I did use antique brass as my blender color. All right. But I just come in here and I didn't even worry about staying out of that pear too much. I just came back with an eraser and erased later. Go along the side here. Just do chunks. So I'll do about that much space over here, maybe a little bit smaller. Then I'll grab the cocoa. And does it matter? No. Doesn't matter which color I use when. And I'm going to have this one angle a little bit. Oh, why? Just because I can. And then I'm going to come up and around with it a little because I'm doing a little bit of shading under this cup, under the saucer. Do you see how I went around there? Now this is one of these that's on the little placemat underneath, or the tablecloth, or whatever that is. So this is going to be narrower because this one was narrowing a little bit. I want them to look like they're connected. And then I'm just going to go back and forth with these. I'm using antique brass this time. Put some over here. Skip. Go ahead and do this big chunk down here. What I'm trying to show you on this wood is that when you're doing wood grain, I find that the looser and messier I am with it, the easier it is. Because wood grain is not perfect. And I'm going to show you how to make a knot hole, because there's not a knot hole in any of this, but we're going to put one in. Here I'm leaving a skinny space, then maybe a fatter space. Then I'm going to come back in with light brown and do a chunk here and here, because I'm trying to do a wood that's very I don't care that it's all one color. I really don't. I'll come down and do above this one. I'll go below it. In fact, let's just go ahead and do all that, and then a piece here. Then I'm going to come in with this darker one, the cocoa. I'm in with it again. Just finished with light brown. And now I'll put some cocoa in here. Get these done. Whoops, there would be a little bit of cocoa there. And put some here, just cause. And then one of these browns was up here, and then one was in between. Good. See how messy it is though? Just really messy in there. Now, I am going to use my lightest one, which is antique brass, and I'm going to use it as my blender. So now, and I've shown you this before, I'm going to put my finger right here on the edge. So now when I'm coloring, I hit my finger and I don't go into my pear. It's so that I don't have to go real slow along there. I can pretty well just get that going. See? So all this has already been colored. Now I still gotta go back and do this side, but that's all right. But yeah, you can use your finger like that anywhere you can use it. I could turn my book upside down and do the same thing for this. But I'm just going over everything with this. Yeah, I'm gonna do a knot hole yet. If I can fit one in there, I will. So you can do the knot hole as you go, or you can add one in at the end. I'm gonna add one in at the end, and yeah, I'll have to clean that up later. I am coloring quicker than I normally would, just so I can get your video done. I want you to be able to see how I shade this and everything. Okay, I can just go at it through there. It doesn't matter. It's gonna look like a striped, weird background. I'm okay with that. It's an old weathered picnic table. At least that's my story right now, and I'm gonna stick to it. No coloring police. Nobody's going to tell you you can or can't. And if they do, well, you may not need them around when you color. And I'll clean all that up with a good eraser. Alright, then I'm going to come in with my darkest brown, which is cocoa. And let's get some shadow in here. Just like we did on that plate's edge, remember? Just going to get that shadow in. You can tell I already did some up there. I'm just kind of going around, but I'm doing more down at the base than I do on the sides. All right. Get some going down through here. Just makes it look like it's laying on that table instead of floating above it. And again, if I were sitting in my chair in the living room, this would be up in my lap. Much easier to get around it. Same thing over here. Comes out here. And I keep this part kind of loose. Now, I didn't want to go in on that one like I did, but again, I'll clean it up. But I just want to keep it loose and non-perfect, because it is old rotted wood. I know it's kind of weird. Good dishes on rotted wood? Hey, why not? Alright, in here with the eraser, clean it up. And I've got a battery operated eraser in the other room that will just pull all this up in seconds. I just don't have it back here, but I'm letting you know it does come up. These are Crayola pencils. Okay, so knot hole. Anytime you have a knot hole, your color tends to come around like this. It'll be here, and then it'll come up, and it'll go back, and then it'll do it again. Okay, and then there'll be another color. That time I used my darkest. This time I'm in my lightest, and it just, you're just doing a knot hole. Okay, so just play with it. This one up here was actually drawn on here, but you can see there, and then it was again there. So if I wanted one over here, I'd come up, do zigzaggedy, and come back, and then come up through the middle, come up again around the outside. So if you want to make something look like wood, make sure you're adding some knot holes to it. Okay? But again, there's lots of tooth still showing in that, so I need to go back and do more and more blending. But anyway, time is up. So hope you found this helpful, and I will be back in a few days, and we will do the pear and then finish the rest of the shading up and the birds, and we'll be done. All right, thanks for joining me. Give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.